Manchester United draw 2-2 with Aston Villa in pre-season. The tour of course, Bangkok and Australia comes to an end with a bit of an underwhelming performance, really, from Manchester United. Good in spells in the first half, but a really poor second half display. Almost Ollie-esque mistakes, ill discipline, problems at times for the team. And as I've stated all summer, the result in preseason isn't the focus, it is the overall performance. And what we saw today is very much the identity of how the team is trying to play is there. The shape the team is trying to be in, both with and without possession, is visible. But it comes down to these players being coached and trained and developed. And over the course of preseason, you were never going to get that perfect. And we saw today, as soon as there was a bit of pressure on players, in the second half is a great example. Villa played with a diamond in the first half. So there was less pressure being put on Luke Shaw's defensive attributes. And as soon as the change came and Leon Bailey came into the fray and he was attacking down that left-hand side, you saw a very different Luke Shaw getting caught out, getting rinsed, getting turned inside and outside and upside down like an apple turnover. And United had problems in that second half, and it was when Villa put the pressure on us. Villa changed their shape, they made that personnel change, and they put Man United under a lot of pressure. And this is where I think Man United fans are going to have to temper themselves. This is where Man United fans, and I've been saying it after every result so far in preseason, do not get carried away, because there will be bad moments, there will be poor performances, and there will be issues while this team gets used to life under Erik ten Hag. What we're hoping for is that you don't see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bad performances back to back to back, as we did under Ralph, as we did in many spells under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But an underwhelming performance today, and I'll call a spade a spade. I'll call things out. United were good in moments today only. There was a lot of poor passing, and I know the pitch was bad, and I want to address the pitch. A lot of people say, but the pitch. Yes, the pitch was bad. However, and there is a big however to this, a very, very big however to this, and we need to address this properly, but Villa were playing the ball around very well in the second half. Villa were very dominant in the second half. They were playing on the same pitch in the same weather. When Man United, after about 15, 16 minutes, started to dominate the first half, when we were opening Aston Villa up, we were playing on the same pitch as them. The same pitch in the second half. So the pitch, of course, had a part in this game, but for me, it isn't a good enough excuse as to why Man United were poor in large parts. And it was a little bit of a disappointing display. And I think we've got to prepare ourselves as Man United fans for a number of performances like this, especially when things don't go right, especially when the team you're playing against is having good spells in the game. The reason why the Man Cities and the Liverpools are so good, it isn't just for their scintillating style of play, the goals they score, how brilliant they look, how entertaining they can be. It's about how they recover to bad situations, how they get through poor spells in games, and how they keep their composure in these moments. A lot of it's mental rather than technical. And you saw that from the players today. When they were under pressure, it was, looking for that Hollywood pass, running into poor areas, making bad decisions. But it's all about having faith. And I'm not being overly negative here. I'm just pointing out what I saw, because there were lots of positives in the first half as well. The first goal we scored, simple passing, a lovely ball inside from Delo. Martial, one touch, spreads the play to Bruno. Bruno, instead of dilly-dallying, makes a quick and right decision to play it into Rashford. Last season, we must have seen, I would say, 80% of the time where Rashford had the opportunity to play Luke Shaw in on the overlap. He didn't do it. He'd try and cut inside. He'd hope that the fullback would go with the runner, and he didn't, and he'd cut inside and shoot, and the shot would get blocked. Very simple pass out to Shaw, good cross and finish from Jadon Sancho. That kind of goal, those cutback goals, getting the ball to the byline, crossing it across that 6-yard box, either slightly in the air or along the ground, is going to be so key for Manchester United. There is no doubt about it. So there were some, when we were relaxed, when we were mentally in this game, when we weren't feeling overly pressured, Manchester United were the better side. But as soon as Villa changed up, as soon as Villa put pressure on Man United, you saw those cracks start to appear. And, United were poor today overall. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to call it as I see it. Man United were not good. Man United did have issues. However, and I mean this, this is why I'm saying to Man United fans, don't get drawn out by rivals. Oh, you're not going to be the complete article to start the season. Are you ready to start the season? Depends by what standards. Depends on what you're expecting from Man United this year as to whether or not we're ready. We shouldn't be more ready than Arsenal. We shouldn't be more ready than Chelsea. We shouldn't be more ready than City. And we shouldn't be more ready than Liverpool. These teams have had their managers for 18 months. 18 months or more. These guys have already built their squads. They already have their systems established. If we're being compared against our rivals, if you're talking about ready to start the season to compete by the standards of next year, not the overall standards of the club, we have to wait and see the new players being integrated first. And I think that's what's going to be the big improvements for Man United. When you see the Lisandro Martinez is coming to this team, the Christian Eriksen's as an example, a couple more players are definitely needed to give a bit more impetus and a bit more excitement to this team. So look, it's a work in progress. Not a very good day in the office today. The result, as I've said all summer, it's nice to win, but it doesn't really matter. Conceding goals late on, when you've made all those changes, does it matter? No. Would we be ready? Would we be a team that's going to win the Premier League? We would have scored in the 93rd minute and won 3-1. No, everyone would say it's just pre-season. So let's have the same energy. These players whom we are gassing up in pre-season will vanish midway through the season. Hence, Erik ten Hag needs at least 5 to 6 first-team signings ASAP. Some of them definitely will. But this season is more about resetting the culture. And I know people hate that turn of phrase, but it's true. Fixing the mentality. And what we saw go wrong today was mentality over ability. Panic. Panic is a mental attribute. It isn't about your technique. Because when we were relaxed, we were able to play good balls, play the right passes, make the right runs. And that man management and coaching is going to be very, very key from Erik ten Hag. We actually have no quality. That second half was shocking. Well, we obviously have quality because in the first half, there was some very, very big quality moments. And it's whether you believe, and look, I stand by what I said last year. I haven't changed my mind. Man United's issue last year was all about a lack of mentality, a lack of discipline, a lack of trying hard at times, and then being able to concentrate through bad moments, staying composed. I think we lack the mentality because of years of a lack of coaching, the system not working, and a mediocre standards and mediocrity that is spread across the football club. That is a big part that Ten Hag's got to improve. Now, you're never going to improve that 100% through pre-season. Real games and real moments are when it's going to count. And the United players will be disappointed with today. They really, really will. And I'm sure Erik ten Hag, he's not going to slag the players off in the press conference. You'll probably defend them. What you'll probably hear him say is defend them a little bit because of the pitch, the travel, the time. But you'll see, if you actually read between the lines and not take every word literally, he'll talk about improvements. He'll talk about needing to be better, better decision-making at times. And all of that is key. Let's keep going here. Is the set-piece coach bulletproof or something? Explain what you mean by that, Manish. I need you to, sometimes with the comments, I need you to understand I want to understand what you mean. I don't want to assume on that one. Tell me what you mean, brother. Are you better than Arsenal? We'll see, won't we? I mean, this is the thing. Up until today's performance, we've looked very good in every preseason game, barring when the wholesale changes happen, because I don't really like that. Even in preseason games, I know why they do it, but as soon as it happens, I almost like phase away from watching because the lack of quality comes in for both teams, if that makes sense. Not set in stone, but generally you should low cross when in the box and whip it higher, barring a drill cutback. Pretty standard. Listen, that goal couldn't go along the ground because there was too many. I think there was too many players between United's, too many defenders between the ball and United's players. So there had to be a bit of the ball put in the air. But Man United have scored a cutback goal or two, and I think every single game so far in pre-season. And we should be scoring goals like that almost week in, week out in the Premier League. City do, Liverpool do, the best teams do, or at least creating the opportunities. So that's a very big positive out of this game. You could have done with Memphis Depay today. I hear you, Abdul. By the way, if we hit 500 likes plus while we're live, I will give away more free memberships. So make sure you're smashing that like button, people. Josh here says definitely growing pains. Erik ten Hag is the type of coach to have his team click throughout the season. New signings will help our progress. We all need to see how we respond after an unfavorable result. Yeah, I agree completely, Josh. And I think this isn't panic times. You again, the mushrooms will be out in full force. The mushrooms will be out and they'll be panicking and saying, oh my God, this is why we need all these things. We're in trouble. We're not ready. But my question still is ready for what? And no one's really been. I'm not saying you're wrong for saying it. I'm saying there's making statements a bit like the Manish a minute ago. He said, "Is the set piece coach bulletproof?" Tell me what you mean. I want to know what people mean rather than when people say we're not ready for the season. What do people mean? I want to hear what we're not ready for and your expectations and what you believe is achievable this season. Then your comment makes more sense. I think, and I make this mistake sometimes as a content creator. I hear statements and I chat and I get annoyed by them. And what I should do is really ask, what do you mean? Explain yourself fully so I get where you're coming from, because it doesn't make sense. Not ready for what? It would be my response to anyone saying we're not ready right now. Not ready to make top four, or you think we can make top four then? Cool. You know, I've heard people go, United aren't ready. Ready for what? Or ready to challenge for the top four. But you don't think we'll make the top four irrespective of who we sign? No. Then what are we not ready for? I don't get it. There's like United are finishing sixth, irrespective of who you sign or buy or how ready you are. Then why are you talking about being ready or not? It makes no sense. It's just like a cheap shot. It doesn't, you know, I'm not going to take it seriously. You can say it. I don't care, but I want to know what you really believe. Martial needs to stop putting a graveyard shift in against sides with proper defenses set up. Also, Malacia got bypassed by Bay easily. Sancho looked fire. Yeah, Sancho looked really, really good today. He did. And by the way, Leon Bailey, when he came on, the guy was on fire, mate. He was on fire. Ronald here says, at this rate, Everton will finish above United. Good bit of dry banter there, my friend. That's like toast with no butter. Update on Koundé. That's going to come a little bit later on today. I mean, the Koundé news is crazy today. Yesterday, as you saw from Ben Jacobs, Koundé will sign for Chelsea. That's a done deal. A fee agreed. It was set to complete. Now we're hearing something very, very different. But as I said on the stream, there was this 1% chance. Could that 1% chance be activated? We're going to talk about that later on the terrace. We're talking football right now. Can we stop the Donny hype? How many chances does this guy need? MIA in the first half. If Scott is healthy, this dude is not starting over him. Like, I tweeted that I want to see Donny start the season, and I do. I want to say this in the right way. I want to see Donny because I want to see how he does in actuality. I want to see him play in a real game under this manager that obviously knows him, obviously understands him, obviously gets him. Like I just want to see it. I want to see what it's like. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what it smells like. Liverpool and City have nothing on this preseason. Liverpool and City have nothing on this preseason. United. Tell me if I'm wrong. United can finish above them. All facts. Tell me if I'm wrong. Look, no. United are not finishing above Liverpool or City. I don't know why you're saying that. Again, is that banter? Is that a joke? I don't get it. It's like it's not hitting right. It's not hitting properly with me. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, my friend. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me, brother. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I'm not even trying to be rude or dismissive. I don't understand your banter. So you need to explain it to me. And it ain't very good banter if you have to explain it. Maybe I'm the dumb one. Maybe I'm just being dumb, you know? Maybe I'm just not getting it. Maybe I just don't quite understand it, as it were. But I'd love you to educate me. I'd love you to educate me on it, because I'm very, very, very confused. I'm very confused. Very confused by it. But there we go. So I'm just trying to update something while I'm talking to you all. Have a look at some of your comments here. Smallest club in London rejected again. Do you know what I do love about the Koundé thing? And I'll talk about it later. It's funny how when Gerard Romero says United are going to get De Jong, everyone says he's a bullshitter. And then this is what I mean. That's what I love about football fans. They're the best. And then Romero says the deal's going to happen for Barca, and it's like, oh my God, it's definitely happening. Football fans are the gift that keeps giving. It's brilliant. It really is brilliant. T.J here on Twitch says, agree, but that is the point, I suppose. Either one would be improving on the coaching. We have had nowhere near where we want to be, but last season was rock bottom for us. Of course, and listen, we will play better football, but I stand by what I said for the majority of last season. I would say 80% of Man United's problems last year were mentality over their ability. Because when Man United play with confidence, we can beat anybody. Now, then what you have to add to that is the quality. But you have to fix the mentality first. The mentality is the bedrock. The mentality, the culture, the behaviors is the bedrock that you grow from. It doesn't matter the quality of the players you have if that isn't right. You could put the 11 best players in their positions in the world in Man United. If the standards are low, if the behavior is poor, if the culture at the club is wrong, they will not achieve to the greatest standard that they possibly can. Of course, you would take the 11 best players in the world over what we've got. Of course you would. But they still won't achieve their full potential. You need to build that first. And that's what I'm focusing on. More so than the start. The start of the play is there. We can already see what we're trying to do. We can already see it. And that's key. I'm more looking at these players and their reaction to things because they threw managers under the bus last year. I'm not going to yield away from that. I'm not going to defend them on it. I want to see their improvements on it moving forward. But great comment there, my friend. Thank you. Terry, if Donny was British, he would be getting dog's abuse. Not seeing anything from him to show me he is better than Scott. Listen, I appreciate that opinion. My view is I want to see him given a chance. I kind of want this. This is where I am being a fan, but I'm also talking from a content creator point of view, a football culture point of view here of fans. I want to see the debate put to bed. If he plays 4 or 5 games and isn't good, everyone who backed him can just put their hands up and say, yeah, I got it wrong. Everyone who said he wasn't good enough go, cool, I won that one. But then let's move on. I want it answered. I can't take another year of him not playing regularly and then all the weird excuses coming out. The one great thing about this season is because Erik ten Hag is here, no one will call it bullying or favoritism, so we'll see. Abdul here says, Terry, games like today are more important than those previous 3 wins. You need to expose your weaknesses so Erik ten Hag knows what to improve on. I mean, look, preseason is preseason, and I'm sure even in the games where we played well, he's called out things that were wrong. We made mistakes in those games as well. We just weren't clinical at times today, and we started the second half slowly. We conceded that goal, and we never really got back into our flow. I think they're all as important as each other for different reasons. The result, I stand by this, isn't the key thing. But fans are fickle. Football fans and people are fickle. Liverpool supporters said when they got smashed by United, it's preseason, it means nothing. Darwin Núñez scores 4 goals, and oh my God, we've signed an amazing player. That's just the nature of human beings. I try not to fall into that trap. I just speak about things how I see them, and I don't change my mind willy-nilly. If I get shown something that changed, like a fact or a piece of information I wasn't aware of, I change my mind about anything. But on preseason is what preseason is. It's there to, as you say, to expose those weaknesses. It's there to see what's right, what's wrong. And that's why you often see more, all clubs do additional business after preseasons or when the season begins. Sometimes you might go through your preseason and go, you know what, that player's look great. I think he could do a really good job for us on the right-hand side of the attack. This is hypothetical. You start the season, 2 games, and wow, under the pressure of the lights, as it were, not good enough. Let's go into the market. These things are all natural. But it's a really good point there, Abdul. Very well made. United have been better than Liverpool and City this pre-season. What's so hard to understand? All facts lead to United is better. Try to look at the reality, bro. There's a good attempt at... that's a very good attempt at reverse psychology. It's just not going to work. Maguire's wife, I'm not answering that, you freak. Let's have a little look here at some more of these comments. Man Like Prime says, Sancho, so happy for him. Great for confidence and motivation. You know, the front 3 have looked really good so far this preseason. Still think more needs to be added to this team, though, to take us to that next level. I still think more is needed in this attack. Stereotop falling for the trick. We don't want any process. We have to win and win now. Barca, Chelsea, Spurs don't do process. The team is crap. The difference is, my friend, is we can't be as broken as a club as everybody has stated and just go back into winning like this, especially when, like, Barcelona are in a very different position. They're in a 2-horse race league. They've got the monopoly. Them and Madrid have the monopoly. It's very easy domestically for them to recap and recoup. They've only had a year or so in the wilderness. It'd be a very different scenario if Barcelona went through nearly a decade of failure, not challenge, being nowhere near titles, nowhere near Champions Leagues, hemorrhaging players, hemorrhaging managers, poor ownership that whole time. Those guys that got arrested a year or so ago that run the club into the ground, if they were there for 9 years doing that, they wouldn't turn it around inside 1 year. Tottenham, there is a process at Tottenham. There really is a process at Tottenham, and it started in the November when they brought in a new manager. Would my expectations for Man United be different if Ten Hag had come in November? Absolutely, because he would have already been working with this team by now for 8 months, so that the standards are different. And in terms of Chelsea having a process, well, of course they do. Everybody does. It just depends on where your starting point is. Every club has a process. Every club has a project. Every club has doesn't have a rebuild, but there's always a project going on. There's always a process happening. And it depends where your starting point is. Man United are at absolute rock bottom. We're changing the way we play football. We have got to get out lots of bad habits in the way we're running the club. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't win. I'm not saying we shouldn't win games. I want to understand what you expect. Now, I really do appreciate your super chat, because what you're essentially saying here is that we need to compete with Man City and Liverpool this season. And if that's your standards, fair enough. Like, I appreciate that's your view by reading your comments here, that Man United have got to compete with Man City and Liverpool straight away. If that's what you believe, then fair enough. Like, I don't know. If that's what you think, that's what we should do. I appreciate that opinion. I think your opinion is wrong. I think your standards are too high. I think there's too many good teams in the league for us to jump straight back to that level. But I do appreciate you saying your opinion on that. But I'd love to know what the rest of the viewers think. Do the viewers think that Man United should have to compete now with City and Liverpool? Is that a reasonable and fair expectation? And are rebuilds just a way of covering up deficiencies? Should we be able to, within one summer, be straight back to the top? Do people think that's plausible? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that. Top 4 or Ten Hag out, not buying any process is what you're saying there. Well, listen, I don't necessarily disagree that we shouldn't make the top 4, but Ten Hag out for me depends on how we're playing. And I'll give you an example, and I'd love your response to this. If Man United play brilliantly the majority of games next year, we get 78 points. We're brilliant for the majority of the season, but we miss out on top 4 by a point. We win the FA Cup and the Europa League. Would you still sack the manager for not making it into the top 4? So is it just top 4 or bust, or is it, or do you have context to that? I want your opinion. I want to get your take on that. But great. Listen, at least you're actually showing a little bit of an opinion. At least you're showing a little bit of chest. Too many people sit on the fence. At least have an opinion, God damn it. At least have an opinion. Fair play to you. I think you should drop TFT merch. It's coming, baby. Just all you got to know, TFT merch is on its way. It's why the new logos have been created and much, much more. So keep your eyes out. Ola here says, I haven't seen anything from United which indicates to me that United can make top 4. I think both Spurs and Chelsea are way ahead. Arsenal, West Ham are more stable and more constant, is what Ola thinks they are. Top 4 is a must, but you can't expect him to challenge first season. So when you say, so you're a Liverpool fan, when you say top 4 is a must, is it who else is it a must for, and what's the ramifications if they don't make it? Like, that's what I want to understand. It isn't. I get your point, but I want some more detail on that comment. I want more here. So if Spurs come 5th or Arsenal come 5th, irrespective of how they play, is that bust? Is that managers out? Change manager? Like, I want to get people's takes on this. I really do. Based on heritage, yes, but based on the last 10 years, no. Of course, it's true. I think you've hit the nail on the head there for me. Based on Man United's size and how much money we've spent in the last decade, we should. but that isn't the actuality of the situation. Liverpool Football Club, no one expected Jurgen Klopp to win the leagues in his first full season after he came in the October, because Liverpool had been drab. You know, Liverpool had been drab for a long time. Brendan Rodgers, and let me rephrase that. I'm getting confused here. Brendan Rodgers took over from Roy Hodgson, not the other way around. This was a team that almost won the league 18 months earlier. Well, not even 18 months, like 15 months earlier, they almost won the league, and there wasn't the expectations on him to win straight away. So I'm intrigued to know why Man United standards are different. Just want to know why. I'm not defending it. Just want to get your rationale, my people. In my opinion, is top 4 or go, no process at all for me, is what Talk Africa podcast has got to say. Listen, that's an interesting take, my friend. Interesting take. United really think they'll get top 4. But that's also the other side of this. This is what I love about these opinions. The same rival saying we're not going to make top 4, we're not good enough, are saying you have to make top 4 or you sack the manager. Make it make sense, my good people. We're either good enough to make top 4 or we ain't. What is it? What is it? Let me know, my people. Let me know, my people. I want to understand. I want to understand it. I want to understand. So I'm just editing a post that I put out because there's some wrong information in it. It always annoys me. Hang on a second. That isn't what I wanted. How do I do this? All right, that's updated. Cool. I hate having to update things when I'm live myself. It's one of the things I need my KJ doing. But he don't work Saturdays. Although he is backstage. He does work Saturdays. It's more, I've worked out how to do it here. It's more, not until the football starts. Sorry, I'm just updating a few things here, my people. And I'm going to be back with you in just a second, all right? Cool, that's done now. Let's have a look at some more of your comments here. Jay says, I think it's difficult to get top 6 with this team, is what Jay believes. That's an interesting take. Davey says, I think this season we can get 4th or 5th and win a cup maybe. Next season, top 4 and like a cup. Following season, I would hope to be challenging if Ten Hag has the power. Yeah, I mean, that's what's really going to be key here. I really agree with you on that. Arteta or Ten Hag getting sacked this season without top 4 is what Martin believes. It's interesting, really, because I kind of feel like there's definitely a lot of pressure being put on Ten Hag to achieve. It does appear like rivals are putting more pressure on Ten Hag to achieve than they are Arsenal. And that's an interesting one. But I suppose that's because Man United have the better manager. And if you've got the better manager, there should be more pressure on him to achieve, I suppose. Which I think is fair logic. You don't even know if you're good enough for top 4. What's your point, my bro? Of course we don't know if we're good enough for top 4. We haven't kicked a proper ball yet under Ten Hag. So we have no idea how good, bad Man United are going to be. So it's all about prediction, isn't it? That's why it's called a prediction, my bro. Prediction. Like, it's easier to make a prediction. Like, generally speaking, prediction should be based on what we already know. If that makes sense. Like, it's a forecast. Forecasts are very much, well, you look at history, you look at form, you look at the people you've got, and you make an informed prediction. When you haven't seen a team kick a ball yet competitively, because it's a new manager, a new system, new players coming in, it's a lot harder to make that prediction. And what you'll probably find with Man United is some people's opinions change after the first 3 or 4 games of the season. Now, your opinion can change on any team after the first 3 or 4 games of the season, but it's less like if City starts slowly or Liverpool starts slowly, most people won't write them off straight away because we know they can come good. Where if Man United start off brilliantly, it'd be, actually, we could have got this wrong. If Man United start off really slowly, it could be, I thought they were going to get top 4. Now I'm thinking top 8 might be hard because you're less confident in them because of the history and everything else. But I hear you, my guy. Erik Ten Hag here says, challenge, because you said Rashi is the best youngster, best midfield in Bruno, and best right back in AWB. Don't say rival said this and that just from what you said. What's that got to do with anything? I never said that AWB was the best right back in the Prem. I never said that. Defensively, he was amazing. It still is amazing. It's the rest of the game that hasn't developed and gone to the next level. Bruno, the best attacking midfielder in the league. Yeah, I stand by that. I stand by it. But Man United have got the greatest player of all time in their team right now. We still didn't come top 4. It's a team sport. Terry, any advice for muscle soreness? Tough workout. Massage is good. Ice bath is good. Make sure you stretch afterwards. I've actually got one of these things. It's not in this room, actually. It's like it's like you put it over your shoulders and different parts of your back, and you kind of turn it on and it massages you. It's really, really good. You wrap it around your leg as well. Or say what's really good, if you can afford one. They look like a drill or a gun, and they smash your leg. Like you put them into your body after workouts. Things like that are great. Get the blood flowing through. And also take like an after workout kind of supplement that helps with muscle repair. Is what I would suggest. Now, I'm not again. I actually know about that stuff quite a lot. I just eat badly. That's why, like, I can build the chest up and the arms out, but the gut just stays because I don't eat good. Like last night, I had a nice night, had a few drinks, watched The Grey Man, watched a bit of Better Call Saul, ate some Pringles. Yeah, I don't live the life of an athlete. Why would I either? Why should I? You can call us mushroom fans because we demand better. But my guy, you understand what I call what the people I call mushroom fans are people that I don't believe are as negative as they're behaving. So I don't think you're being negative. I just think you're setting standards. All right. And it's fair. I'm talking about people that are negative about every element of Man United just because it gets some traction online. They're a very specific, unique group of people. And yeah, that's kind of it. So I thought my nose was going to bleed them. Barca were in the mud last year, and their rebuild legit has been done in months. They are making statement signings to challenge as their fans demand the best, and United fans should demand the best too. Yes. Would it be easy if they had a decade of in the mud or 1 year? When Man United started, when LVG first took over, the expectations were really high still to go and challenge. LVG's first 2 seasons and Jose's first 2 seasons, you're still only talking 4 to 5 years since we last won a league. And every season we were looked at as one of the top 2, top 3, top 4 favourites to challenge. It was like United should challenge with this squad, with this manager. And we never did. There's a fundamental difference between being out of the race for a year and being out of the race for 10 years. Being poor for 10 years. So I do think the starting point is very different. However, the overall expectations of people to get back to the highest level, I completely concur with. I just think it's going to take a little bit more time, especially though in a league where you've already got, like Barcelona would not be able to do what they're doing if they had 3 teams, if they had 3 or 4 more teams with as much power and as much money, and they're already better than them in their league. They wouldn't be able to bounce back as quickly. If you got rid of Liverpool and Chelsea and Arsenal and Tottenham, they were gone from the English league. The rest of the teams were here. And it was just City and Man United. We could bounce back in a year or 2. The playing ground, the ground is different. It really, really is, in my opinion. 500 likes, people, and I'll gift out some more memberships to you. Get that done now. Terry repping a Newcastle kit. Mate, it's blue, actually. It's not black, but fair enough. I just want United to be back with a bang. Oh, I know you do. I know you do. But I think you need to temper. My opinion to you is temper your expectations over a period of time. What you're expecting year 1 isn't going to happen. Therefore, you are going to be disappointed. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure for me having unrealistic expectations. Year 1 expectations. Anish says Ericsson and Martinez would help out our depth. They are players like Chong, AWB, Tellers that are not good enough and had to come on. Europa League is a must. Top 4, not so much. Although Ten Hag not out. Yeah, look, if we finish again, for me, I'm more focused this year. I want to win something. I want to win trophies. Don't get me wrong, and I demand that we do, and I want us to. But I will contextualize it. If we're on an upwards trajectory and we're getting better and we're improving, then I'm never forced just sacking a manager because you don't want to upset the apple cart, as it were. But we have to see, again, gateway moments. How do we do in big games? How do we do when the pressure's on? How do we do in semi-finals, finals? How do we do, oh, look, United got a chance to go 4th today. Chelsea have lost and Spurs have lost. All they've got to do is beat Brighton at home and we lose 2-0. Like those moments that happen so regularly under Jose, so regularly under Ollie, so regularly, even in the short period of time that Ralph was here. All those elements need to be focused on for me. You know, if we're playing really good football, but we crash and burn at every pivotal moment, I'm really worried. because then the style of play and how it looks is irrelevant if when it comes to the crunch, you can't deliver. So there's so many factors to look at in this, but really good points being raised there by my people. Let's have a little look here. I want United to get... Okay, back with a bang. I read that one already. Sorry. Right place, right time. Says United needed a refresh of the squad and McSauce and Jones still there. Top 4, nah fam. Arteta under more pressure than Ten Hag. Yeah, I mean, look, Arteta is for me. He's going into his 4th season, or the fourth season, fourth year. £400 million or so spent on this squad by the end of this summer. There has to be more expectation on him. There's no doubt in my mind. But that doesn't mean there's no expectation on Ten Hag. And I've had that conversation with a few Arsenal fans this summer where they're like, well, why aren't you putting expectations on your boss? I am. There's loads of expectations on my boss. But I just think there's more on yours. Equally, there's more expectation on City and Liverpool. Their expectation is to win the league. It's a much bigger expectation than coming top 4. It's a harder thing to do. And I think that's fair. Alexander Lacazette says 6 and winning the Europa League is sackable for Arteta, as that's regression in the league. Depends though, bruv. What if you're better in the league and you get more points, score more goals, concede less, lose less, but you just got Chelsea and Spurs that are also brilliant and in front of you, but then you win the Europa League, you get Champions League football. I think you have to judge it based on how you play. Like, imagine this year you're better than last year, but you finished 6th. So that's where the league table doesn't lie. It just tells you where you were ranked last year in terms of the best teams in England. What if you're better than last year? You only lose 5 games. You win 7, 8 more games, score 20 more goals, concede 15 less goals, yield many more points, get to a semi-final of the FA Cup, semi-final of the League Cup, win the Europa League. There would be no need to sack Arteta. No need, in my opinion. However, if you come 6th, lose 13 games, concede more goals, then maybe, because that's actual regression. The league position doesn't always signify regression. I'll give you an example, and this is a question more than an example. What if you won the league next season with 90 points? The following year, you come 2nd with 95 points. Have you got better or worse? That's a question for you, like a legitimate question to the audience. Are you better or worse than the previous season? I'll leave that one with you. I just hope if things go wrong in the season, we, the fans, back Ten Hag and believe in him and give him time instead of being player FC. The mushrooms will be player FC. What the mushrooms will do is they will look for what's the most popular thing to attack. So if it's the Glazers, they go for the Glazers. If it's a player, they go for a player. If it's the manager, they go for the manager. They will go for where the most traction online is. They will go for where the most traction is. So I hope the same. But if it's fashionable to back the manager, they back the manager. But as soon as one of the big Man United influencers turns against the manager, and there's enough safety in numbers to do it, they just go, because they don't really care. They just want to interact online. It's like why most people watch Love Island, so they've got something to tweet about. It isn't the show people enjoy; it's the interactions about the show. I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. Right. So answer me that question, people. Answer me that question. Let's have a look. So I had a super chat that I can't find now. I want you guys to answer that question for me. 90 points and winning the league. Following year, you come 2nd, but with 95 points. Have you got better or worse? I'd love your take on it. My friend. Last chance for Mikel. Win the Europa League / get top 4 or out. Listen, I think you could win the Europa League and still get sacked if it goes backwards in the league. I really do. I think United still are underprepared after expected signings and mentality in account. Top 6 is what United get. Ability-wise, we are better. Mentality is worse. Reality hitting for United, getting way too gassed is what Sir Knight McGee thinks. Yeah, I mean, look, reality maybe has kicked in today. But then if today's the reality, what were the other games? Again, I'm not over egging the wins, and I'm not slamming this performance as this is how we're going to play every game this season. I don't think that's a fair way of looking at it. I think there's a lot of balance in between this here. Let's do some more of your comments that are coming through here. No one's really answered the question yet. No one's answered the question. Better. Someone says you're better the following year. Okay. Better, but then your opposition has gotten better too. And that for me is the point. You can't always control how good your opponents are, generally speaking. That's the one thing for all of our teams to remember. So why sometimes you have to be quite insular, kind of shoebox your club and go, right, have we got better? And by how much? Because what you can't account for is how good another team is. Like, that's and then you have to look at it and go, right, do we again, you might think Arsenal could get completely better this year, much better than last year, but come sixth. And then maybe the board go, listen, I just think we need a world-class manager now. And you still move the manager on. That's still a logical train of thought. But for me, there's so many complexities to it that need to be looked at. But interesting take from you there. But listen, my people, more content coming later on today. We've got some Jules Koundé update coming for you soon. I haven't really. What's interesting? Yeah, I'm gonna say it for the video, but a very interesting turn of events with what's going on with Jules Koundé. Still, as it stands, Sevilla are denying everything. They said there's nothing. The Chelsea press have been silent. The neutral European press have been silent. What Gerard Romero has said is that when all the Barca journalists wake up, who are currently all in America, he said, you'll see more of this news come out. Yeah, madness. Because yesterday we were all told, weren't we, by the media, you know, Chelsea have beaten Barcelona to the player. We were told. Matt Law, Ben Jacobs, all of them. So we'll see. The only person who hasn't tweeted anything yet has been David Ornstein. Oh, interest. I love the transfer window. I really do. Listen, people, until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.